yeah, caring deeply about what those that you care deeply for think about you, and showing up every day and doing your best and growing and evolving and taking their feedback, especially when it hurts and especially when it sucks. I'm not saying you should let strangers dictate your life, but I feel like if there's somebody in your life that really cares about you and really values you, I think you should care about what they think.
So I have a client who's 25 years old. He's really starting to see a huge delta between his friends that he used to hang out with, party with, smoke weed with, and then him. He's 3 times a week now, and we're just tracking metrics and habits, and he's just off to the races, and he's gonna achieve so much more because he's so focused on his habits and making sure he has good habits, not bad habits. And the truth is 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's gonna be a massive difference.
Hello, NLU friends. For those of you who have children, there is something said in this episode that you might want to skip. I don't know exactly when it is, so one, maybe keep your finger on the slider. If you're driving, I'd probably skip this episode or wait until you can listen to it in private. It's nothing terrible, but it is something that could be bad for the family. So we're just going to throw that out there. Again, it's nothing crazy, but I would probably skip this episode if you have children present. Thank you. Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1964, it's Freestyle Friday. For those of you who may be new, Freestyle Friday is when Alan and I don't really have anything on the docket. We just show up and just kind of freestyle. And I really enjoy these episodes because oftentimes it becomes a catch-all for topics that just wouldn't make a full episode. So this is what I was thinking. And I don't know that we could really do a full episode on this because I don't know where it's going to go, and it might be shit. Could be shit. Don't know. You know how people say success is the best revenge?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think the best revenge is?
Fulfillment.
You think that's what it is? I have a better one than you.
I have a client of mine who, there was someone from her past that treated her subpar from her perspective, and there's no question that this person treated her subpar, who reached back out, screenshotting a message of this person saying all the things she wanted to do in the world, and gave her the, hey, you did it. Like, you've done everything you said you were going to do all those years ago. And you would think that's a awesome thing. And I think in one side of the coin it is. On the other side of the coin, there's a little more underneath that, which is, now that I'm really making it and really doing it, now all of a sudden you believe in me, whereas back then you thought I was delusional and didn't support me almost at all and kind of treated me like shit. And now you're kind of trying to pretend like you believed in me the whole time, type of thing. Yep. You ever experienced anything like that?
Well, there was Mike Jones. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They're all on me. So Mike Jones.
You personally, you have experienced that?
Yeah.
Do you want to share that anonymously?
I heard through the grapevine that somebody I dated in the past was in a group of friends, and they were talking about the podcast and the business. And they were like, oh, yeah, I was like the inspiration for that. What? What do you mean? No. How dare you? How dare you try to take this away from me? But yeah, no,
AKA, none of that would have happened. The whole hyper-conscious podcast, Next Level University, the business, the brand, none of that would have happened without this person's insight.
It's hard because I think that the best revenge is forgetting about the person or the people or the thing that you thought you had to get revenge towards. That's what I think. I think that. I think back to like the people who I learned about something recently. There was somebody who didn't bully me in high school, but for some reason it was like a grade above me and wanted to fight me. For some reason. I think I stunted on them in intramural football.
Stunted on them?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Oh,
here's stunting?
I stunted on. I made them look bad.
Oh, word.
And
Word.
somebody brought them up recently. It's like, I completely forgot about that person. I completely forgot about you. I forgot you existed. Not in a negative way. I just kind of moved on with my life. And I forgot about that. I think that's the best form of revenge. But I'm weird with stuff like that. This is my new thing. I've been saying this a lot lately. And again, this is like the real stuff. I am not so evolved where I don't get competitive. I'm not so evolved that when somebody mistreats me, I try to have empathy. I do. I try to have empathy, and I try to just let it roll off me. But my new thing is, like, when somebody doubts me, I just say, well, see you at the top. See you at the top. If you
When
get
did that
there,
start?
and I get there, man.
A couple of years now.
Well,
Maybe
it
only
would
a
be...
year, honestly. Time's weird.
Time is weird. But I would hear through the grapevine, Alan would be like, yeah, I was talking to that person. It's very clear that they don't respect you. It's like, well, see him at the top. I don't know. What am I going to do? Go try to win them over? No, they're not going to respect me. They may never respect me. Maybe they'll respect me when I have what they value. Maybe they'll never respect me. But for me, I got to go do my thing. It's up to me to make me successful. It's not up to them. I got to be successful for me and my family and for Alan and the team, not for someone else. But I think that's the best revenge. I think the best revenge is not success. I don't necessarily think it's fulfillment. I think the best revenge is forgetting about the thing that you thought you needed revenge towards.
Do you think it's best served cold? Or?
Oh, I think it depends on the external temperature. Depends.
Revenge is best served cold.
I think that's like an ego thing. You know, it's like, I don't want to rub it in someone's face. I don't want that. It's like, I don't think I'm going to, like a scene from a movie, like pull into the drive-thru where someone works. And like, oh yeah, remember me? Remember me? Need 12 double cheeseburgers now. You're like, what are we doing here? No. If anything, I think the best revenge is showing up and being such a good person that it makes somebody, I mean, again, I really think forgetting is, but you be such a good person that they question how they ever could have doubted you or talked shit about you in the first place.
This person the person reached out to that I told the original story about at the beginning of this episode, she asked me what to do about that. And I said, alls I know is that it has to drive you. It doesn't mean it has to drive you to hatred. It doesn't mean it has to drive you to anger. It doesn't mean it has to drive you to revenge served cold. But it does have to drive you. And I do believe that to be true. I think that's important. I think I told you this way back. I said, for anyone who's been listening to NLU or Hyperconscious Podcast or who's known you and I since we were 26, and it's very clear that we have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. And that's okay. We didn't have dads. We grew up in tough environments, for lack of better phrasing, in different ways, but definitely. And I would say we were written off in many regards. Maybe me more than you, I don't know. And I think in different ways too, because I was seen as an achiever who was going to make it, but also like bullied a lot. It's just a whole thing. So at the end of the day, there's definitely a chip on my shoulder and a chip on your shoulder. You don't do 2,000 episodes, an episode every day without a little chip on your shoulder, without a little something to prove. And I think that the truth of the matter is, and I just want to share that, is in the beginning, maybe it starts there. Maybe it starts as you're the bullied freshman who didn't hit puberty and whose dad left at 14, a stepdad left, and maybe it starts with, I'm going to prove my worth. I'm going to prove my value. I'm going to prove that it was a mistake to leave me. But then eventually you far surpass that person and you realize that they're actually just a large toddler and they can't even spell. I may or may not be talking about someone from my past. And then you evolve past that and you face it and you realize, you know what, I don't need to, that fuel burns hot, but it does burn out, and there has to be something greater than that. However, every now and then you got to let that competitive drive really kick in and fuel you and motivate you. And I think there's a big difference between toxic competitive and healthy constructive competitive. And I tell the story about the bully that I saw in the gym. This dude was a fucking asshole to me. He and his boys on the basketball court, I was scrawny and I was good at basketball, but I was scrawny and they were jacked and they could dunk and they were big and they would just throw me around and just be really unjust. And I ran into that person at the gym and now I'm twice his size and he looks like shit, quite frankly. And I wanted to pin his ass up against the wall and say, things are different now, huh? But I didn't. And I easily could have. Easily. I mean, that would have been simple. But I was like, what would that do exactly? I think I'd have that doesn't make it right. Becoming a bully yourself? Isn't that isn't that the worst? That's how, bullying begets bullying. For all we know, that person's dad was a piece of shit or whatever, right? So, and I'm not making it okay. I'm seriously not, because bullying, I think, is the dumbest shit ever. Like, tearing other people down to make yourself significant is the dumbest shit ever. I'm just calling that out. I'm going to say that. Now, that said, why would I become that? That's the very thing that there was another person I ran into in the gym who was just an all-star athlete, quarterback of the football team, popular as hell, and I remember going up to him in the gym, and this was after I started to really become a bodybuilder and fitness model and all that. And I said, dude, thank you so much for being so kind. Because a lot of the jocks were really cruel, and you never were. I really appreciated that a lot, because when you're this insignificant little kid that is up against these what seem like grown men, it means a lot because you feel so insignificant. I mean, this guy, all the girls wanted this guy. Not a girl would look at me, type of thing. And you just feel so terrible, and you never forget that. And I think that can drive you. That drives me for sure.
Isn't it crazy how influential and impactful high school is?
It's insane. That is where
nobody prepares you for that.
Dude,
nobody sits you down
school, yeah,
and says, hey, the next 4 years be weird as shit. It's going to be, you are going to essentially try the majority of things for the first time. And you're going to experiment with things, and you're going to experiment with people, and you're going to experiment with ideas, and you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself. Try not to hang on to it too much.
Yeah.
Especially what other people say about you.
Because you're going to think you fall in love, and you really didn't.
They don't. Yeah. What 16-year-old Kev, we'll say 14-year-old Kev, what do you think you know? You don't feel like you know that much? Okay. Nobody else does either. Nobody else does either. There are definitely some people that know more than you, but not by much when it comes to living as a human. Yeah. They might know more about math. Awesome. And there's definitely some people that know less than you. Probably not by a giant degree. If you think about it, we're all on pretty level playing fields here at this point. When we're 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not saying your past wasn't different. I'm not saying your traumas. I'm not speaking to that. But I had no idea how impactful high school was going to be.
Dude, it's even just being with those kids in college, going back to when I was 18, 19, 20. Middle school, stop saying
What are they feeding the kids at WPI? There's a couple of kids same height as you. What are we doing here?
One of those is a grown man. He's 30 years old.
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm 36 almost.
Yeah.
Real quick, Alan and I went on a podcast together. No, we went on it separately, but we've both been on it. I don't remember the gentleman's name. Great dude. He commented on that picture. Oh no, he commented on the picture of me, you, Stefan, Merrick, and said, "How tall is Alan?" I said, well, in this picture, he looks like he's about 11 feet because it's shorter folk next to Alan. You look like you're 11 feet in the picture. You'll have to go look at my my
really?
Instagram. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. The one at Next Level Live?
Yeah, you look like a giant.
I also have, there's a little bit on those shoes.
I got a little bit of mine too, probably.
Yeah, there's
But
a
not
little bit on
enough.
those dress shoes are nice. But I'm wearing those at WBI too, so you're absolutely right. The kids are tall. Couple of them. Okay. You are a child and you go to kindergarten. You go to kindergarten. And again, I know this is different globally. I'm talking from our experience, so put this into your context, please. I had someone earlier tell me, Alan, you radiate American. It's like, what does that even mean? I don't even know if I'm proud of that anymore. But honestly,
what does that mean, though?
the responsibility of the individual. Apparently, that's a very American thing. Like, you can pull yourself up from your own bootstraps and build your own future, but it's your responsibility. That's like a very apparently American thing. Yeah. So anyways, someone said that to me earlier. They're a Canadian and they think that I'm like the all-American, which was fascinating for me to hear. And again, I don't know if they said it that way. That's what I heard.
Did they also say that I aspire to be you exactly the way you are when I grow up?
Not even a little bit. They said that you exude American, the American belief system, I guess. And I do think it's aspirational dream. Remember when we interviewed Brant and he was from Canada and he talked about how it's different, the mentality of being able to really build something here. I hope that we never lose that. I believe in the individual's potential. I really do. Less than I ever have, to be completely honest. But it's still the American dream, all that. Again, this is a global podcast. It was just a little anecdote. Okay, so kindergarten.
Yes, we're back.
It's a little tiny kindergarten.
Yeah.
There may or may not be dangerous asbestos in the walls of said kindergarten.
Lead.
Okay,
Yeah, there was. There was, for sure.
100%.
Yep.
Kev ate a lot of lead paint. I'm kidding.
Probably.
All right. So kindergarten. Tiny little world. Small little kindergarten. Then it's middle school. Ooh, a little bigger. Oh, elementary school. I'm sorry. Elementary school. Lot bigger. Middle school, even bigger than that. High school, even bigger than that. College, even bigger than that. Then you party at other colleges, maybe bigger colleges, even bigger than that. Then you go into corporate and it's like, oh God, this is a whole nother thing. It's even bigger than that. And then you go into entrepreneurship and you go, I am fucked.
Definitely.
This is going to be atrocious. And I'm being playful, but there's 6 billion human beings on the internet now. When we were in kindergarten, we had such a small little world. I remember there was a girl named Carrie, and she was so cute, and I wanted her to like me, and you might know who I'm talking about, and brunette, and it was passing notes, do you like me, yes or no?
In kindergarten?
Simpler times, yeah. I believe so. I might not have told her, but maybe I did pass
What are you
notes.
passing notes to yourself?
No. This is either kindergarten or elementary school, but yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My first girlfriend was in 3rd grade. Sir.
I mean, so here's the thing. I was no older than 3rd grade. How old are you in 3rd grade?
I have no freaking clue. I'd have to work back. I know that you're 14 as a freshman in high school. 14 or 13. So then you work your way back. You got 4 years, so you're looking at 10 for elementary school. So you're probably 9. 9 in 3rd grade. 8 or 9.
Taft was elementary?
Correct.
Yeah, I was making out with my neighbor in her treehouse in middle school.
Yeah.
Not good, I don't think.
This is going to be, we'll get back on the value in a second.
This is
the first time I ever made it with anyone was when I was in 7th grade or 8th grade. It was a girl from Northbridge, the town near us. And I remember thinking, this is the best thing ever of all time.
I don't think I was thinking that because I didn't really know what was happening. I was I was too young to understand what's happening here. What are we what's the point? What's the goal? What's the point? What's the goal?
What's the goal with
I look back now and it's like I feel like that explains a lot of my problems. I do. Yeah, I really
we
do.
were watching. What's the Snow Dogs?
Snow
You see the movie
Dogs.
Snow Dogs.
Yeah, little
I'll
Cuba-
never forget that. We were watching that on VHS, and we didn't watch the movie. We just made out.
To be young again.
Yeah, and dude, what a trip it is to go back to a place when you didn't know how to kiss.
I still don't.
We'd have to talk to Taryn about that. But
I'm sure she'd love that.
that's one thing that I think, to bring this back to the value. When you're young, you don't know anything, but nobody does.
This is the value. Everyone is here for this, son.
Even kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, corporate, entrepreneurship, whatever it is, wherever you're on in that journey, when you're 10 years old, everyone seems the same because you're at the beginning of the compound effect. That's why when you get older, things start to really change, because the compound effect of whatever your patterns are really start to amplify. So I have a client who's 25 years old. He's really starting to see a huge delta between his friends that he used to hang out with, party with, smoke weed with, and then him. He's 3 times a week now, and we're just tracking metrics and habits, and he's just off to the races, and he's going to achieve so much more because he's so focused on his habits and making sure he has good habits, not bad habits. And the truth is 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's going to be a massive difference. And we don't talk about this as much as we used to, but if you fly from Boston to LA and you're off by 1 degree, you end up, 250 miles off course or something? Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot. The farther you're going, the more that 1 degree off matters. And you and I are seeing that in our own life as well. The girls that nexted me in high school, it's not what it used to be. I never could have gotten a girl like Emilia in high school. Emilia in high school was really hot. I never could have. I mean, she would have talked to me because she loved nerds and she loved engineers and she always was trying to learn. But there's no way. She dated the football star. I mean, I was a fucking loser.
That wasn't you.
No. Little track and field, though.
A little track and field, yeah. I remember freshman football. I'm still not big. I'm stronger now. I have muscles now. In high school, I kind of did too. But I remember there was a tackling drill, and you would hand the ball off to someone, and they try to run through 3 other people. And for some reason, they love to use me and then the 3 biggest kids in our school. It's like, I would go home crying all the time because I got my ass kicked so bad.
I think in hindsight, it's pretty obvious our self-worth was...
Well, I wonder what were the coaches up to? What do you guys getting your jollies? Why am I getting the ball, though? I'm not even a starter. I suck. It's like...
That is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, we need somebody to get their ass kicked. Kev. Get him in. Line him up.
Yeah.
I
would say you and I did not understand.
No.
Looking back, someone asked me on a podcast earlier. Shout out to Adam. You went on his show last week. And it's called The Truth Temple. Love that. This is going to be great. Hopefully you really want truth, because let's go. I adore it. It's very important. He asked me, he said, what's something about growth that no one really in the beginning gets? And I said that it's terrible. In the beginning, it seems awesome. You learn about the compound effect, and you learn about personal development, and you read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and you start to have more positive habits, and you start to go to the gym more consistently, and it's fun. In the beginning, it's fun.
Or you take naps at 11 a.m. like I did.
Exactly.
that's
in
growth.
The beginning, it's really, the personal growth is really exciting and fun. And for the most part, it's not only fulfilling, but also enjoyable. Now, the way that I know someone's really growing, seriously, it's how sad they are and how painful it is. And I don't want this to come off masochistic, but the way that I describe growth is you're basically just repeatedly realizing Santa Claus isn't real, and neither is... Oh, we got to set a disclaimer now. I apologize. But that, for anyone's kids who are listening...
We do have children that listen to this podcast, believe it or not.
Yeah, we're going to put a disclaimer now. Hello, 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 NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. That's what growth feels like. Real personal growth, I think, feels like being bludgeoned with hard truths that are very sad and very uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, so Santa Claus isn't real, the Tooth Fairy isn't either, the Easter Bunny isn't either, and you thought that this and it's actually that, and you thought your dad was this, but he's actually that. You thought your mom was this and she's actually this, and you thought that this was this and it's that's not true. That's what real personal growth feels like. When you mature in life, you basically just get the naive slowly stripped out of you. And if you can do that, it's almost like these are the stages. So stage 1 is you're just a naive kid and you don't know how you're protected kind of from the evils of the world, for lack of better phrasing. And some of us more than others. And then you go out into the world wanting to believe that the world is good and that things are good. And then you get your heart ripped out and shred into several pieces and bullied or whatever it is. And then you go, okay, maybe the world's not so good. And then you become kind of cynical. And cynical is smarter than naive. And then in that cynicism, you start to say, wow, the world is kind of messed up. Like, there's people starving and this person has a yacht. Like, I remember when I went to LA, dude, that was weird. There's like a Bentley dealership right next to homeless people. And it's like, how is this a thing, right? And you just learn how fucked up the world is. And then you figure out how it works and why it works that way. And then you go from cynical to, well, I can't be a part of the problem. I don't want to be a part of the problem because that's depressing as shit. But you try for a little while. You're like, you know what? I'm going to drink. Maybe that'll help. And it doesn't at all. I mean, you have some fun, but you're still depressed. You don't know why. You're not fulfilled. And then you realize this isn't helping anyone, especially not me. And then you go, you know what? I'm going to be the change I wish to see in the world. And then you go back to naive. And you're like, personal growth, that's the thing. And it's super fun in the beginning. It's like, everyone wants to grow and everyone wants to reach their potential and everyone loves self-improvement. And then you slowly realize that that's not even remotely true and that you're absolutely alone on this journey, statistically speaking, because if everyone was into self-improvement, the world would be utopia. And then you eventually go cynical again, but at a different level. And then you go, okay, well, I don't want to be a cynic, and I still want to be the change I wish to see in the world. And now I'm a more developed version, and now I got to face my past and realize that almost everything I thought I knew was wrong. But maybe I'm more than I originally thought, and everyone else was less than I originally thought. So that's alarming. And then you settle into this place of maturity of, okay, I've been swinging back and forth my whole fucking life. And maybe the truth is in the center. And maybe the world isn't good or bad. Maybe it's both. And maybe I can be a part of the good. And maybe I can really lead by example because it turns out no one did from my perspective. And maybe I am more than I originally thought. And maybe I am more than where I came from. And maybe my terrible childhood isn't going to define me. And maybe that stuff that started as revenge actually can turn into something way more than that, which is a calling. And maybe, just maybe, I can help more people reach their true potential than anyone in history if I really gave it my all, because I know I'll regret it if I don't. And again, I just described, obviously, my frame, but the point for everyone out there watching or listening is whether you started out good or bad or negative or positive or constructive or destructive. I started destructive and then went constructive and then destructive and then constructive. We're all in this yin and yang of what the hell is this and who the hell am I and what am I going to do about it? And I think that at the end of the day, you have to eventually reach this place where it's like, okay, I'm not naive anymore. I know the world is inherently dangerous and savage and very scary. However, I'm going to become strong enough and smart enough to where I can actually protect me and my family from that, not from a place of hiding, but from a place of strength. And then I'm going to try to fight for the good. And I think that's the growth journey in a nutshell. And the truth is, to make this all full circle, is that's what people don't realize about growth, is most of it is actually really challenging. In the social world, it sounds cool and it looks cool and the results are cool. In the real world, it's really a grind and it's very heartbreaking. And luckily, you can come back stronger from all that, and certainly with more meaning. And I think meaning is the thing that you can really orient around.
Epic monologue. All I could think in the very beginning, then I was like, okay, I'm not going to interrupt Alan to make this joke because it would be highly disrespectful, because this is like actually going somewhere and it's deeply meaningful and I could tell. But Next Level University, your daily dose of negativity. That's all I could think. And when you first started that, I was like, yeah, no, we've gone pretty dark. We have gone pretty dark. But
Or more truthful.
I think it is that. I do. I think it is. I did a video yesterday on Instagram, on my story, where I was like, Instagram is such a weird fucking place where somebody will pay to get to 10,000 followers and then they'll do a celebration post that they got to 10,000 followers. I saw somebody do that the other day. I was like, no way. No way. Brother, that ain't real. It's like using fake weights and then giving yourself a trophy. Like, fuck yeah, I'm strong. No, this isn't real. This isn't real. What are we doing here?
Yeah, man.
What are we doing? That's part one. Part two, I think when growth gets really hard is when it goes from a exciting new possibility to a heavy familiar responsibility. I think when that happens, it's like, oh wow. Oh yeah, I'm like, I can get out of my comfort zone and it doesn't kill me. Like, that's awesome. Oh, nice. But now you also know that's a choice. And now you know you can do that forever if you want to. That. The first
and now,
time
when you don't do it, you feel guilt.
Yeah.
Or shame.
Yeah, like you're leaving it on the table. Well, before it became an option, there was no choice. Once it became an option, it became a choice. And that's where it gets wonky. That's where it gets really wonky. And again, if we ever sound negative, I think right to Alan's point, we've just had the opportunity to see behind the scenes and behind the curtains, and yeah, just seen enough patterns to realize that almost nothing is really the way it seems.
Yeah.
And I think the sooner you know that, at least the more prepared you can be for it. Almost nothing is.
If I could give any piece of advice to my younger self, it would be, Alan, the social world and the real world are two very different things.
Yeah.
And a good metaphor for this is the wedding day versus the marriage. Right? Everyone's wedding day looks magnificent. Not everyone's marriage is magnificent. And I would say, Alan, focus on the marriage. In this metaphor.
Another good one. And again, I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. This is from a place of exploration and just learning and understanding. Go to a YouTube channel where the person does interviews. Look at the thumbnail picture of the guest and then look at the video of the guest. I did that the other day and I was like, oh my goodness, I would not even know this is the same person. Now again,
is it AI generated?
No. It's just like,
Really
it's a photo shoot versus
a
Thursday. But same thing. Same thing. You look at the artwork. I don't look exactly like I look in the artwork right now. Alan does. I don't. That was from a photo shoot. Right? If you go look at certain pictures. The podcast artwork. Yeah. The thumbnails are from this episode, so they're going to look exactly the same.
That's what I thought you meant. That's why.
No. Yeah, fair point. But from the podcast artwork, or you can go and look at social media. Like, I have pictures from when I got married. That's not the way it is now, but that's always been. I'm not saying that I don't do it. I think I'm trying to be more aware of when I'm doing things. So if you go and look and somebody's profile picture is from them 7 years ago, imagine what that does internally to someone. 7 years is a long-ass time. This podcast barely existed 7 years ago. That was a long time ago. Am I saying you should do a new profile picture? No. because it doesn't matter that much, but we treat it like it does matter that much. And it's this weird thing. This will be the last thing I say before we get out of here. I saw somebody post the other day. They posted, I don't care if people like me. I don't care if people hate me. I don't care. And I was thinking to myself, like, I know that comes off as a flex. It's like, oh, this person is so centered in themselves that they don't care what people think. I don't think that's the ultimate place to get to. I don't think that is. I think there's ego involved in that. I think we all care what people think. I do. Now, there's a difference between saying, well, I used to just be so obsessed with what other people thought of me that it controlled every facet of my life. Now, I do my own thing, and I deal with the feelings that I get. I think that's drastically different. I think the real flex is caring deeply about those that you care deeply for. Caring deeply about what those that you care deeply for think about you. And showing up every day and doing your best and growing and evolving and taking their feedback, especially when it hurts and especially when it sucks. I'm not saying you should let strangers dictate your life, but I feel like if there's somebody in your life that really cares about you and really values you, I think you should care about what they think. As long as it's healthy. I care what Alan thinks. Of course I do. I think that's why I care what my wife thinks. Of course I do. I care what the team thinks.
Can you imagine if you didn't?
I think some people are trying to get people there. It's like, you shouldn't care what anybody thinks. Well, no, that's dumb. I think that's dumb.
Yeah, it is.
It's like an ego thing. Like, I don't care.
I was thinking about this earlier on the podcast. I know we got to jump, but I told on the Truth Temple, shout out to Adam, I said, the more that you go on this growth journey and the more success that you achieve, I think sometimes, not always, there needs to be this big ego around you because you have to protect yourself because you're getting attacked a lot. It's been really alarming to me that the more and more I've climbed on my own growth journey, my own metaphorical mountain, there's been more love and more inspiration and more motivation and more profitability and more clients and more team and more, but there's also been quite a bit tearing down on this journey, trying to tear down. And I remember thinking to myself, why are you trying to tear down? Like, all we're trying to do is help people learn and grow to their true potential. It's not like we're doing negative things in the world. And even, I mean, I have people that I disagree with. Let's say there's a politician that I can't stand. I'm not going to go hate comment on their stuff. I'd rather just go build our thing. Why waste my time and effort on that, right? And he said, well, why do you think people tear people down? And I said, I think it's significance. I personally, even when I was being torn down and I was being bullied in high school, I never bullied back. There was one time when I was in third grade, his name's Josh, and fourth grade, I was going through a hard time and I bullied him at recess for like a 2 or 3 month period. I would trip him. You know how you put your leg out and then push him over? And he was a little kid and I was a bully for like a very, very, very short amount of time. And I just felt so much shame. I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I just stopped. I completely stopped. And I think that's just a phase that some people never grow out of. Sometimes I'll get someone who shits on me and I'll think to myself, like, if you put half as much time and effort into shitting on me as you did into your own career, you'd be flourishing, right? Why are you wasting your time trying to tear down us? And so I think it's phases, right? So you when you're a kid, we'll go through, okay, kindergarten, you don't care about what anyone thinks because you don't think about what anyone thinks. You're just kind of being. And then you're in elementary school and you start to care what people think. But maybe not that much. And then you get to middle school and you really start to want to be one of the popular kids and you really want to fit in and you start to know who's who. So that's the science kids. These are the nerds. These are the jocks. Where do I fit? Am I tall? Am I short? Am I hitting puberty? Why not? What's the deal? I'm joking. All right. And then high school. And then it really becomes you care so deeply about what everyone thinks about you and the social hierarchy. And here's the hot girls and here's the popular girls and here's the girls that are popular, but they're not hot, but they're still popular. I don't know why. Here's the guys that can dunk a basketball and look like grown men that are sleeping with the teachers. It's a whole freaking thing. And then you get into college and you do the same thing, but on a greater level. And then you get into corporate and you're like, okay, who's the richest? And what's this about? And why does this matter? And then there's the office politics and all that stuff. And then you get into the world of entrepreneurship and you realize that, okay, even this industry of self-improvement is completely full of shit compared to what I thought. And you just learn through, and your naive goes away. And so you go through these phases of, I do care what people think. And then I don't think about what people think at all. And then I really care about what people think, but I pretend I don't because I'm in high school. And then you realize, you know what, I'm just going to own it. I do care what people think, especially the people I care about. And then eventually it's like, wait a minute, do I even really care what other people think anymore? Because it's not going to work anyway. But I do still care what Emilia thinks and Kevin thinks and that kind of thing. And then you eventually reach this point of acceptance of, okay, I care what people think, and I always will, but yet less than I ever have. And now I have to be all of me because I can't inspire and motivate someone without also triggering potential envy. And so me shrinking isn't going to help anybody. But yet I don't want to come off toxic either. So I have to be all of me, but in a way that's palatable. So now I have to learn how to communicate effectively, but also be all of my intensity. And then make sure I know my audience. And you realize you can't win any of this game. So the only thing you really can win is being better than you used to be. And eventually you get to this place where it's, I just want to be better than I used to be. I haven't arrived. I'm still striving. And I just want to be the better person. And I want to be better at speaking. And I want to be a better podcaster and a better coach and a better trainer. And I want to be in better shape. And I want to work on myself. And I think that's a really fulfilling journey. And then the more you do that, the more you're a mirror for other people. So the more you trigger them. And then it gets even harder in a way. So it's this never-ending journey of challenges that you have to face. And so to start with what we started with the episode is revenge the best? No. But I do think it can drive you to be better. And I think that if that stays your main driver, I think that can be really detrimental. And I think eventually it has to be bigger than you. And eventually it has to be for something that is of fulfillment to you. And then you have to live more in the real world than the social world. You have to. Because eventually you get to the top of the social hierarchy and you realize that it's not fulfilling at fucking all.
It's not what you thought.
But it is necessary for success, because if no one looks up to you, then you don't have anyone who you inspire. So it's this whole thing. And I think that you and I are in a place in our life now in our mid-30s where we're very honest with this stuff. I don't think other people talk about this.
Well, it does seem extremely negative for a self-improvement podcast. I think that's, but why is improvement equated to positive? Right? Like when you're improving yourself physically, sometimes you're like working on stuff that's negative. Oh yeah, you're getting rid of your bad habits or whatever it is. I think the ultimate goal is to get to the place where you care what you think about yourself more than anybody else.
That's fire.
In the right way, though. That's one thought. And then you said, why do people tear people down? What's easier? Building... When I was younger, I would literally take out a deck of cards and I would try to build a card house.
Yeah.
So hard.
Brutal.
What's harder, building it or knocking it down?
Yeah.
Knocking it down. Anybody can knock it down. Just walk by it. Give it a little...
Yeah.
You know, building something is way harder than tearing it down. Way harder than tearing it down. Because it requires zero commitment to tear somebody else's shit down. Just walk by and say, huh, you suck. It's that. Go build your own thing. Go build your own thing. And then when it falls down, you can rebuild it. And then you can rebuild it. And then I think that's why there is that level of negativity. Because when you're not building something, you don't know what it's like for people to throw shit at the house of cards that you're building. But when you do, you don't want to do that to somebody else. Fuck. I don't want to do that to you. You're on your second layer? Hell yeah, man. Good for you. Good for you. You better put a concrete wall around that thing so nobody knocks it over. There's some assholes out there, you know? So, yeah.
Very last thing.
Oh, for Fletcher's sake. Hey, with all the love, I love you to death.
I know.
You haven't said a single short thing in this episode.
No, I know, but this one will be.
You've been building pyramids. Like, you're you're -2, and then the next thing you know, you're -1 years old, and then you're 0 years old, and you're 1, and then you're 6. Go ahead.
It's like seeing a group of siblings. One of them gets a new bike, and the other sibling is so jealous and conniving that they ruin the bike because they're jealous they didn't get one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of adults are still like that, and I think it's very unfortunate. And for any adults that are out there like that, you really got to look in the mirror and ask yourself what that's doing for you. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people that never matured emotionally. And I know there's reasons for that. I get it. You know, emotionally immature parent, there's books, there's all this stuff I'm researching, studying, relationship talks, coaching, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Listen, I get it. Doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it okay. Me tearing you down for me to feel bigger is the dumbest shit ever.
I'll punch you right in your throat. You're gonna tear
well,
me
that's
down.
good, and you should.
You're gonna tear me down. You're fucking with the wrong one. you come to me. I'm talking about Alan, not you, whether you're watching or listening. Please leave me alone. I am cracking.
For your hate mail, it's Kevin at nextleveluniverse.com.
Kevin at nextleveluniverse.com. Well, you know what? We want to tell it like it is. And we've had the privilege of growing a lot, and we've worked really hard and really diligently every single day for the last however many years, and there are some downsides that come with the upsides. That is just the way she goes, as they say. All right, Next Level Nation, if you are looking to be the most consistent version of yourself, specifically when it comes to fitness, we have a WhatsApp group, totally free. You don't have to sell us anything. You don't have to give us any body parts to join. Totally free. But it is the Next Level Fitness Accountability Group. And Alan and myself are in there pretty much every day, and we post our workout pictures. And yeah, it's just a good community of people who are into fitness, whatever that means. People doing hot yoga, people doing walking, whatever you want to do to move your body for X amount of minutes per day. If you're looking for some necessity, if you're looking for some accountability, you already listened to the podcast and you want more of us, you'll see us in there every day. So just reach out to me. You can email me, Kevin at nextleveluniverse.com, at NeverQuitKid on Instagram, wherever you want. Facebook, Kevin Palmieri, whatever's easiest for you.
Shout out Charlie in there, Richard, Steph, Kev, what's up, man?
Hey, what's happening?
Me, I'm in there.
You're in there.
Heather's in there. Jenna, shout out. It's just a bunch of people trying to get in better shape. There's no bullies allowed. Andrew, my man, what's up? Yeah, just a bunch of people trying to keep after it, and they're on the grind.
They are on the grind.
I will be doing push day this evening, and I will be sending a progress pic, accountability photograph of me.
Are you stalling? You working on a dramatic reading over there or something? You stalling?
No.
Okay.
No, I love the fitness accountability group, man.
I'm just going to make sure.
It's great stuff.
Keep you on the rails.
And also, I wasn't actually stalling for that. For someone out there on the growth journey who feels really alone, you're not alone. That's not uncommon. And you might not know that because you might not coach. Now, 24 people, very grateful. I coach enough people to where these problems and these challenges of feeling alone and being shit on by your friends and being shit on by your family, not everybody, but a lot of people on this, there's not a single person I've ever helped on their growth journey towards their goals and dreams that didn't deal with some level of resistance from friends, family, past peers, high school friends, college friends, corporate friends, If you are struggle bus, reach out. You're not alone. Everyone needs a good trainer in their corner. Everyone needs a good coach in their corner. I'll be in your corner, and I'll help you understand that this is not uncommon. This is totally common. This is par for the course. This is what it takes. You're not going to watch a movie and have the hero of the movie have no resistance, no villains, no challenges, no bosses. Yeah, it would be a terrible movie. So life is the hero's journey, and you're the hero of your own story. And if you want to achieve your goals and dreams, you're going to have to go through some stuff. And you're not alone in that. And definitely everyone needs a mentor or a guide or a coach or a trainer in their corner. And I hope that I can be that for you. So reach out on Instagram or Facebook personal, both of which will be in the show notes.
Don't grow alone. You don't have to. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Stay next level. Next Level Nation.